Welcome. Today we're going to change a nib on a fountain pen. So first off, why would you want or need to change a nib on a fountain pen? A fountain pen has an interchangeable nib, so one could upgrade if they were just feeling to do so and get nicer alloy materials. You could have golds, titanium, as opposed to different engravings. You could go from a fine nib, which is what I did. This is a fine nib, and I replaced it with a stub because that's more my size. So you could just be going up and down in the size continuum as well. You could have other things as well, like maybe you're replacing a feed too, getting rid of the stock plastic feed, putting a nice ebonite feed on. And one more reason could just be your tines are misaligned. And that's what kind of led down this journey. So your nib itself is out of alignment. Now you can get shims to properly realign nibs, but I don't have those. So anyways, we are going to go ahead and disassemble this. So we are dealing with a Bock nib. So Bock nibs was started by Peter Bock in 1939 in Heidelberg, Germany. In 1951, his son joined the company and focuses on new machines, and he kind of updated the company. In 1961, Otto took over for Peter, so now we're second generation. In 1973, they acquired another French company, and 1991, they relocated to a bigger facility and did their own tool making there. In 2003, they expanded into making feeds that are custom for themselves, and then, or like in-house design feeds. And then in 2011, Wolfgang Bock, the grandson of the progenitor, the grandson of the founder of the company, takes over, and that's where we sit today. So half of the pens you'll find out there will be Bock, half will be Jovo, and maybe a tiny sliver will be, in-house offerings or something like that from other companies. But most companies don't make their own nibs. They source them from either Bock or Jovo. So now we are testing out an fpnibs.com from Spain. Bock 250, stainless steel in a medium with a semi-flex. Ooh. Oh, that is super nice. That semi-flex is really nice. Hope I spelled everything right. This nib is really fun. So look at the line variation you get. It starts off as a medium, but then as I give it quick flex. Now, this is not a full flex nib. This is a semi-flex nib, so you're not going to want to do this all the time, but just for small, embellishments, like the T in turn, or like if you're doing an F, something like that. Small embellishments here and there. This is a really nice nib. I'm actually really impressed with this nib. This is more a base replacement nib too. So this nib was only like, what, 30, 35 bucks. But this is a really cool nib. This was, again, fpnibs.com. And this was a standard stainless steel Bock 250 with a semi-flex. And you can really feel that semi-flex. Now check this out too. Ready? So now you get a little bit of line variation, but when you flex it, you see I'm flexing. So I'm used to a flex pen. On a true flex pen, you only ever want to flex it on the downward stroke. So what I'm doing is I'm flexing here in that straight downward manner, and then I let up, and then by that point, everything is saturated with ink, and this roundabout here is just saturated due to that. I'm not actually adding pressure on this part of the journey. I'm only on that straight downward pull. But it's not a ton of line variation. You get some, it's noticeable, which is good up here. You can definitely see you do get some line variation up here. But it's more of like a saturation. So you can really see that ink saturates on that when you flex it. So right, there is a little bit of line variation, but you get that heavier ink. And then you get really good shading if you've got a shading ink that has that property. So this nib is awesome. Good choice. Very smooth. And this is a feed from that same manufacturer too. Great flow. Nice feel. Wow, I am excited. This is an amazing writer. And I'm going to use this journaling for another night or two before I have to send it back now. This is awesome. Well, thank you for joining me on this part of the journey in replacing this Bock nib with a nice bouncy one.